Hi everyone, it's Athena here. I hope you're all well and have had a very successful week. The video today is going to focus on a personality disorder known as avoidant personality disorder. Avoidant personality disorder is an anxious personality disorder, and it can be caused by childhood abuse, neglect, or general childhood trauma. And it affects up to nearly 6.5% of the population. The reason I'm talking about it is because I have experience in this area myself, but I know that if somebody sticks within their talents and certain comforts, and if they're able to find supportive people around them, so that could be anything from a supportive partner, supportive friends, and a job in which you are talented in and you feel comfortable in, then it is very easy for you to live a very happy and successful life. Now, avoidant personality disorder is listed in the DSM, and it is a cluster C type of disorder, so it's an anxious or fearful disorder. And it's characterized by a pattern of self-loathing or heightened sensitivity to criticism, and they tend to remove themselves from social situations in order to avoid the feelings of anxiety or the worrying that other people are not going to be very accepting of them. Now, the DSM lists 7 different criteria for avoidant personality disorder, and in order for somebody to have this personality disorder, they have to have at least 4 or more of the following criteria. Now, the first one states that somebody with this sort of disorder avoids occupational activities that involve significant interpersonal contact because of fears of criticism, disapproval, or rejection. Number 2, they are unwilling to get involved with people unless they are certain that they will be liked. Number 3 is that they show restraint initiating intimate relationships because of the fear of being ashamed, ridiculed, or rejected due to severe low self-worth. Number 4, they are preoccupied with being criticized or rejected in social situations. Number 5, they are inhibited in new interpersonal situations because of feelings of inadequacy. Number 6 states that they view themselves as socially inept, personally unappealing, or inferior to others. And number 7 states that they are unusually reluctant to take personal risks or to engage in new activities because they may prove embarrassing for them. Now, a formal diagnosis of this personality disorder needs to be done by a mental health professional, and they have to identify at least 4 of the 7 above criteria that I mentioned. Now, the characteristics of people with avoidant personality can vary, but of course it depends on the person because everybody's unique in the experiences that they've had in their childhood. Some people may have had more abuse than others, and everyone's trauma history is unique. There are certain things that they do or say that you may come across again and again. The first one is that they seem to use always and never statements. So they will say something like, he always shouts at me, or he never does the laundry. And actually, it's not like that. It might be that that person may have forgotten to do the laundry twice. It feels a lot worse than it actually is. Another thing that they do is they avoid a lot of situations. It is, after all, called avoidant personality disorder. So they withdraw from relationships with other people as a defensive measure because they don't want to be rejected, they don't want to be criticized, or they don't want to be exposed for being less than good enough. Sometimes they may blame others, and they may think that another person is responsible for creating a problem, but actually it may be that they're just not able to deal with the problem. They do have a lot of thinking errors, so like I said, always and never statements. Another one is catastrophizing. They automatically assume a worst case scenario. So another thing that they do is they have certain confirmation bias. So for instance, they will pay more attention to things which reinforce their negative beliefs about something rather than things that contradict them. And they will just focus on that. So they will focus more on the negative things. They will focus more on the things that happen that make them feel worse, and confirms the belief that they are a loser, or they're not as clever as other people, or they're not as confident as other people. Another thing that's common with people with avoidant personality, especially because they find it very hard going out into the world, they avoid so many social situations, they avoid getting jobs because they have such anxiety is that they have a lot of dependency on other people. And sometimes avoidant personality and dependent personality disorder overlap, or they coexist. And sometimes they have inappropriate dependence on somebody else, whether that might be a partner or a parent or a friend. So they are very dependent people. And this, of course, causes them to feel further depressed and further anxious because they're not able to do things for themselves. Something else that people with avoidant personality do, and of course people with complex post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic stress, they fantasize about things because they want to escape the painful reality that is their life. So dissociating and fantasizing and being in an imaginary world is something that they enjoy doing a lot as a coping mechanism. They can become very isolated because they are too scared of leaving their comfort zone. If they find it especially difficult to socialize, then they will probably be loners. They will probably end up spending a lot of time at home with very close family or friends. And they may not be very comfortable meeting new people or doing new things. Now, a very, very important part of avoidant personality disorder is that these people have a very, very low self-esteem. And it is very hard to change. Just like with any personality disorder, it isn't very easy to change, and these people will suffer with it for most of their lives. They may even suffer from some passive aggressiveness because they're too scared of expressing certain negative feelings that they have. Another thing is that they can sabotage certain relationships or jobs or situations because they're too scared. They have an extreme sense of self-loathing. They don't like themselves very much. They don't see themselves as equal. They think that they're worthless, or they think that they're just not good enough. And this belief is so ingrained that it's very hard for them to change. The last thing that I would mention is they can test people a lot. Because of the insecurity that they feel, they may test people to see if that person cares about them enough. So they may test a loved one or a partner to see if this partner really loves them. So they may do things or say things to see, well, does this prove that that person really loves me? Because they're always questioning whether people can be trusted, and because they have such an insecurity about other people, and sometimes even such a paranoia about people's actual intentions, they always feel like they have to test the person out to make sure that that person is reliable and isn't going to abandon them. Avoidant personality is best treated with medication and talking therapy, and of course, if these things are done together, then there's a better chance for the person to improve his or her life. They may obviously be limited in certain areas of their life in regards to finding a partner, trusting people, or having a good job, but there are ways for them to live a more fulfilling life. And even though a personality disorder is never really completely cured, it can be manageable, and the person can lead a happier life. So that's the end of the video for today. Thanks so much for watching. I hope that you found it helpful, and if you could relate to anything, please feel free to comment. Click on the subscribe button if you haven't already, and give the video a like, and share it with anybody else that may be experiencing this, or a friend of yours that you may be noticing has some of these symptoms. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great week, and see you next Monday. Bye.